Hello everyone and welcome to i-nastava. This is an English lesson for 2nd grade. The topic is British and American schools. Your teachers are Anna and Sandra.
By the end of today's lesson, a student will be able to analyze British and American school system and to describe Croatian education system.
For this lesson, you need pen or pencil, notebook, device for internet access, and don't forget you can stop the video at any time you need.
I hope you have everything you need for the lesson, so let's get started. Read the quotations and think about what they mean. The quotations are as follows. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. These are the words said by Nelson Mandela. According to Malala Yousafzai, education is education. We should learn everything and then choose which path to follow. Education is neither Eastern nor Western. It is human. And the last one? The only thing that is more expensive than education is ignorance. These are the words which are authored by Benjamin Franklin. Now stop the video, take your notebooks, choose one of the quotations you like most and explain why you have chosen that one. No matter which country is in question, about whose school system we are talking about, all these quotes can be applied. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about British and American school system.
Before we start with the topic, copy this KWL chart in your notebook. You're probably familiar with this chart. There are 3 columns. The first one is where you write about the things you know about British and American schools. In the second column, you write about the things you want to know about the topic. And third one about the things you have learned today. Your task is to fill the first 2 columns and leave the third one for the end of the lesson. When thinking about schools in England, what comes to your mind? Is it national curriculum, state schools, private schools, school uniforms, colleges, boarding schools, day schools, or what? I hope that these images sparked your imagination and provoked you to get to know more about the British education system. So let's do it. Here is the link that will connect you to Tom and his lesson on British education system. Pause the video, type the link into your browser, or you can also scan the code. Watch the video carefully and draw a mind map of the school system as you have some tasks related to it afterwards. Have fun and see you later.
I hope it was interesting to listen to Tom, and I also hope it wasn't that difficult to follow the structure of British school system. To make it a bit simpler, let's analyze this slide. The education system in the UK is divided into 4 main parts: primary education, secondary education, further education or sixth form college, and higher education. Children in the UK have to legally attend primary and secondary education, which runs from about 5 years old until the student is 16 years old. You may have come across the terms key stages, so let's make them clear. The education in the UK is also split into key stages which breaks down as follows. Key Stage 1, 5 to 7 years old. Key Stage 2, 7 to 11 years old. Key Stage 3, 11 to 14 years old. And Key Stage 4, 14 to 16 years old. When children are 3 or 4 years old, they go to nursery school. Generally, Key Stages 1 and 2 will be taken at primary school, and at 11 years old, a student will move on to secondary school and finish Key Stages 3 and 4. Students are assessed at the end of each stage. The most important assessment occurs at age 16, when students pursue their GCSEs or General Certificate of Secondary Education. Once students complete their GCSEs, they have the choice to go on to further education or sixth form college to take their A-levels, and then potential higher education or finish school and go into the working world. At university, there are undergraduate programs, Bachelor of Arts, BA, or Science, BSc, and graduate programs, after which they are awarded titles Master of Arts, MA, or of Science, MSc, and finally, postgraduate program for Doctor of Philosophy or PhD.
Now it's time for quiz. The provided link will lead you to word quiz on British education system. You can use QR code too. I hope you've been listening to the video carefully and that the questions won't make any problems for you. After you have done the quiz, come back to continue with the lesson.
And now, to make you think about an ordinary British student and their student's life through stages, let's do this exercise. You should fill in the gaps with the form of the words in brackets, but in some cases you don't need to change the word, as the word itself is the right form. Write the words in your notebooks, and after you do this, we'll check it together.
Let's check your answers. In the UK, education is compulsory from the age of 5 to the age of 16. At the age of 5, children start primary school, which lasts for 6 years. When they are 11, they start their secondary education. Most children go to state schools, but still some 7% attend private schools where they have to pay fees. A school year is divided into 3 terms. Nearly all schools work a 5-day week and are closed on Saturdays. The school starts at 9 and finishes between 3 and 4. A lunch break lasts about 1 hour and a quarter. A typical timetable includes the following subjects: English, Maths, Science, History, Geography, Art, Music, Physical Education, and Foreign Languages. In many schools, there are a lot of after-school activities, such as drama, choir, and trips to some interesting places. Students usually show respect for their teachers and obey school regulations, but those who misbehave risk being excluded from school. The main exams are GCSEs, General Certificate of Secondary Education, which they take at the age of 16, and A-levels, University entrance exams at the age of 18. After completing their first degree, usually in 3 years, university students graduate. Many students continue their education then and study for a master's degree or a PhD.
After we have gone through the facts about British education, now it is time for American educational system. Do you know if it differs from British? You've been listening to Tom, and he mentioned American system a few times in his lesson. He said that what's primary school in Britain, that's elementary in America. He mentioned the difference between the term college used in the UK and what it's used for in America. More about these differences you'll get to know in the video on American schools. So let's move on.
On the slide, you see some expressions that you have probably heard many times in films, series. You've encountered them in the texts related to American schools. Do you know what they mean? Which stage of education would you put them in? If you already know that, good for you. If you don't, you will find it out in the video that you are going to watch. Coach Shane will explain to you the American system of education. He finds British system too complicated to understand. But let's see why he thinks the American is simple in comparison to British. Before you start watching, go through the questions so that you know what you should pay attention to be able to understand the questions after watching. Try to memorize the mind map he's drawing. Have fun. And now let's check your answers.
Question number 1. At what age do the children in America start attending school?
They start attending school at the age of 6 or 7.
Number 2. What is a preschool?
It is school for 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. It is also called a daycare.
Number 3. Which grades are referred to as middle school?
7th and 8th grades are referred to a middle school.
Number 4. What is a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, and a senior?
Freshman is a first grade high school student. Sophomore, a second-year high school student. Junior is a third grade student. And senior, a fourth grade high school student.
Number 5. Are 12 grades of school mandatory?
Yes, they are.
Number 6. Is school free?
Yes, it is. School is free.
Number 7. How long does it take to finish city or technical college?
It takes 2 years to finish technical or city college.
And the last question, is there a difference between college and university?
When Americans say university, they also say college, since a university is made up of colleges. And now it's time for your homework. You should prepare a 2-minute talk on Croatian school system. You should talk about types of schools, division of our school system. Think about preschool, primary school, high school, and university. You can go back to Tom and his presentation on British school system and use it as an example of how to do it. To help you with your 2-minute talk, here is the checklist. After you have prepared your talk, check if you have explained the topic in the first sentence, if you have provided clear ideas on the Croatian education system, if your ideas are easy to follow, and if you have checked the pronunciation and grammar. If you have ticked all of these, send the assignment to your teacher. Also, we want to point out what are the necessary steps to come up with an excellent presentation. There are 4 P's. First, you should plan. Think about your audience, what is the message, how much time you have. Then prepare. Do a research. Organize your ideas. Create note cards. Next, practice. Practice in front of the mirror. Time your speech. Practice in front of your family or friends. And then present. Look at the listeners. Use your own words and do not speak too fast. Try to sound confident. For the end of the lesson, don't forget to fill the 3rd column of the KWL chart. Write down what you have learned today about English in American schools. Thank you and stay safe. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.